It is best to keep a space cushion? A. Only in back of your vehicle. B. Only on the left and right sides of your vehicle. C. Only in front of the vehicle. D. On all sides of the vehicle. D. On all sides of the vehicle. To ensure that you will have time to react to hazards on the roadway, it is best to keep a cushion of space on all sides of your vehicle. Do not crowd vehicles to your left and right sides. When the road is marked with a solid yellow line and a broken yellow line, with the broken line next to your lane, you may pass. A. Only in an emergency. B. If you are on an expressway. C. If traffic is clear. D. Only at an intersection. C. If traffic is clear. When there is a solid yellow line and a broken yellow line in the center of the road and the broken line is next to your lane, you may cross the lines to pass if there is no oncoming traffic. This sign means A. Stop. B. No U-turn. C. Yield. D. Do not enter. D. Do not enter. This sign is placed at the beginning of one-way streets and ramps to indicate that you must not continue driving in your current direction. Your first response to reduced visibility should be A. Turning on your headlights. B. Reducing your speed. C. Turning on your windshield wipers. D. Looking for road edge markings to guide you. B. Reducing your speed. Reducing your speed should be your first response to decreased visibility and dangerous road conditions.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
Diagonal stripes sloping downward left on a barricade or panel mean A. The driver should stop. B. The driver should bear to the right. C. The driver should bear to the left. D. The driver should drive in a straight line. You are driving in the right lane of a multi-lane highway and want to move into the left lane. You should A. Look in your rearview mirror for traffic behind you before changing lanes. B. Look over your left shoulder for traffic in your blind spot before changing lanes. C. Look in your side mirror for traffic and turn on your directional signal. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Before changing lanes, you should always verify that there are no other vehicles in the lane you want to enter by checking your mirrors and looking over your shoulder in the direction you plan to move. You should signal every time you change lanes. This road sign means A. A steep grade is ahead. B. You must turn left ahead. C. Do not enter. D. A four-way intersection is ahead. D. A four-way intersection is ahead. This sign warns that a four-way intersection is ahead. Pennant-shaped signs indicate A. School zones. B. No passing zones. C. Speed limits. D. Railroad crossings. B. No passing zones. Pennant-shaped signs usually indicate no passing zones. Text will also be on the sign to confirm that it is a no passing zone. Your blind spot is the area of the road. A. You cannot see without moving your head. B. Directly behind your vehicle. C. You see in your rear view mirror. D. You see in your side mirror. A. You cannot see without moving your head. Blind spots are areas that a driver cannot see without moving their head. They can be located to the sides of and behind a vehicle. This sign means A. No U-turn. B. No turning. C. No left turn. D. No right turn. A. No U-turn. This sign prohibits U-turns. Do not make a U-turn where this sign is posted. When a curb is painted, fill in the blank. It indicates that only short parking stops are permitted. A. Blue. B. Yellow. C. White. D. Red. C. White. Painted curbs indicate parking restrictions. When a curb is painted white, it indicates that only short stops are permitted. This sign means A. Don't drink if you are going to drive. B. Slippery when wet. C. Road curves ahead. D. You are approaching a hill. B. Slippery when wet. This sign warns that the road is slippery when wet. Distracted drivers are at a greater risk of a crash when they are using which of the following? A. CD player. B. Radio. C. Cell phone. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Using a cell phone, including a hands-free phone, or any kind of audio device, including a radio or CD player, can be a dangerous distraction and contributes to the risk of a crash. This road sign means A. You are about to enter a one-way street from the wrong direction. B. U-turns are prohibited. C. You may proceed if the way is clear. D. Come to a complete stop before proceeding. A. You are about to enter a one-way street from the wrong direction. If you drive past these signs, you are going the wrong way and are at risk of a head-on collision. You should cautiously turn around. Round signs indicate A. No passing zones. B. School zones. C. Upcoming railroad crossings. D. Hospitals. C. Upcoming railroad crossings. Round signs warn drivers of an upcoming railroad crossing area. Drivers should use extra caution when approaching a railroad crossing. Before beginning a turn, drivers should A. Immediately accelerate. B. Always come to a complete stop. C. Slow down. D. Slow down, but only if the road conditions are less than ideal. C. Slow down. Slowing down significantly before making a turn is the smoothest and most efficient way around a bend. Entering a turn too quickly may cause a loss of control. When you see this black and yellow sign, it means A. The road to the right is for one-way traffic only. B. That due to upcoming roadwork, there is a detour to the right. C. Slow down because the road ahead changes direction at an extreme angle. D. There is a crossroad to your right. C. Slow down because the road ahead changes direction at an extreme angle. This sign indicates that the road ahead changes direction at an extreme angle, in this case, to the right. Before you reach such an extreme curve, you should slow down as much as you would when making a turn at an intersection. This sign means A. Watch for drunk drivers. B. Curves ahead. C. Slippery when wet. D. Apply your brakes quickly. Louisiana law requires headlights to be used. A. When the driver is tired. B. Between sunset and sunrise. C. When the temperature drops below freezing. D. During the day in favorable weather conditions. How can you prevent highway hypnosis? A. Begin your drive well rested. B. Regularly stop, even if you don't feel tired. C. Keep your eyes moving. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Boredom is common among motorists on long trips and can lead to what is called highway hypnosis. To avoid this, drivers should begin their trip as well rested as possible. They should regularly stop, even if they don't think they are tired. They should keep their eyes scanning the road to avoid eye fatigue from staring in one place for too long. Which of the following statements is true? A. A sudden change in weather calls for a change in driving. B. You should slow down when driving in rain and fog. C. Be particularly aware of vehicles coming up behind you in inclement weather. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. If the weather changes suddenly, you will need to adjust your driving to adapt. Always slow down when driving in rainy or foggy conditions. Be especially aware of vehicles behind you that may be going too fast for conditions. To change lanes you should A. Check your mirrors and signal, then change lanes. B. Signal, check your mirrors, check your blind spot in the direction you plan to move, then change lanes. C. Signal, check your mirrors, and change lanes. D. Signal and change lanes. B. Signal, check your mirrors, check your blind spot in the direction you plan to move, then change lanes. Before changing lanes, you should activate your turn signal in the appropriate direction and check your rear view and side mirrors. Look over your shoulder in the direction you plan to move in order to check your blind spot and check the far lane to be sure no one else is trying to enter the same lane as you. Change lanes when you are sure it is safe to do so. You are driving when it begins to rain. You should A. Drive faster than surrounding traffic. B. Drive at the maximum posted speed limit. C. Slow down. D. Drive closely behind the vehicle in front of you. C. Slow down. When heavy rain reduces visibility, reduce your speed. Turn on your headlights so other drivers can see your vehicle. If the rain is so heavy that you are unable to see clearly, drive onto the shoulder and stop until the rain lets up. This sign means A. Continue at your current speed. B. You must stop ahead. C. Speeding is not allowed. D. There is a traffic signal ahead. D. There is a traffic signal ahead. This sign indicates that there is a traffic signal ahead. Defensive driving is A. Driving aggressively. B. Using safe driving strategies to prevent crashes. C. Driving against the traffic. D. More dangerous than not driving defensively. B. Using safe driving strategies to prevent crashes. Defensive driving is using safe driving strategies to prevent crashes. This means that you alter your driving to fit the weather conditions, the way you feel, and the actions of other drivers, bicyclists, and pedestrians. Braking distance is affected by A. The speed your vehicle is traveling. B. The condition of your brakes and tires. C. The condition of the pavement. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Factors that can affect braking distance include how fast your vehicle is traveling, the condition of your brakes and tires, and the condition of the pavement. When may drivers pass another vehicle by driving on the shoulder? A. When the shoulder is paved. B. When the car in front is waiting to turn left. C. When the car in front is driving under the speed limit. D. Never. When parking uphill next to a curb, set the parking brake and A. Keep the rear tires against the curb. B. Keep the front tires straight ahead. C. Turn your steering wheel away from the curb. D. Turn your steering wheel toward the curb. C. Turn your steering wheel away from the curb. When parking facing uphill on a street that has a curb, set your parking brake and turn your steering wheel away from the curb. This way, if your vehicle starts to roll, it will roll into the curb. A flashing red traffic signal at an intersection has the same requirements as A. A slow sign. B. A yield sign. C. A stop sign. D. An intersection sign. C. A stop sign. When approaching a flashing red signal, you must stop and yield to all traffic that does not have to stop. A driver entering interstate traffic from an entrance or acceleration ramp. A. Should yield to drivers already on the interstate. B. Has the right of way. C. May force their way into traffic. D. Can assume that other drivers will change lanes to make room. A. Should yield to drivers already on the interstate. If you are on an entrance or acceleration ramp and are entering interstate traffic, you should yield to drivers already on the interstate highway. Merge safely into traffic when you are able to do so. What happens if you drink alcohol while taking prescription or over-the-counter medicine? A. The medicine reduces the effect of the alcohol. B. The alcohol will help the medicine cure a cold. C. The combination could multiply the effects of the alcohol or medicine. D. There is no effect because they are different substances. C. The combination could multiply the effects of the alcohol or medicine. Consuming alcohol and other drugs together can increase the impairing effects of both. For example, having one drink while you are also using a cold remedy could affect you as much as several drinks would when being consumed separately from any medications. This sign means A. All traffic must turn. B. Turn right at the intersection. C. Parking area ahead. D. Crossroad ahead. Watch for traffic. D. Crossroad ahead. Watch for traffic. This sign warns of the presence of a crossroad ahead. At a four-way stop. A. The driver to arrive first has the right of way. B. The driver to arrive last has the right of way. C. One driver should continue driving without stopping. D. One driver should wave the other drivers ahead. A. The driver to arrive first has the right of way. At four-way stops, traffic from all four directions must stop. The first vehicle to reach the intersection should move forward first. If two vehicles reach the intersection at the same time, the driver on the left yields to the driver on the right. It is important to slow down. A. On narrow or winding roads. B. At intersections or railroad crossings. C. When the road is wet or slippery. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. You should always slow down when driving on narrow or winding roads, near intersections, near railroad crossings, on hills, in sharp or blind curves, where there are pedestrians or driving hazards, and when the roads are wet or slippery. Roads become very slippery? A. When it has been raining for an hour or more. B. The day after it rains. C. For the first 10 to 15 minutes of a rainstorm. D. Right after the rain has stopped. Who must yield when a driver is turning and a pedestrian is crossing without a traffic light? A. Whoever started moving last. B. The driver. C. Whoever is slower. D. The pedestrian. B. The driver. Drivers must yield to pedestrians when they are crossing at any intersection without a traffic light, whether or not there is a crosswalk. When you see this sign, it means A. There is an object on the roadway. B. Traffic is coming from the right. C. The road is curving sharply to the left. D. There is a merge point ahead. This sign means A. U-turns are prohibited. B. U-turns are permitted. C. Winding road ahead. D. Sharp left turn ahead. A. U-turns are prohibited. A regulatory sign displaying a red circle with a red slash through the middle indicates that a specific action is prohibited. U-turns are not permitted where this sign is posted. Motorcycles are entitled to A. The bicycle lane. B. The same full lane width as other motor vehicles. C. Half the width of a lane. D. The width of the sidewalk. B. The same full lane width as other motor vehicles. Lane usage for the motorcyclist is critical. Motorcycles are entitled to the same full lane width as all other vehicles. You are coming to an intersection and have a green light. Pedestrians are crossing against the red. You should A. Honk your horn. B. Speed up and pass in front of the pedestrians. C. Stop to let the pedestrians cross safely. D. Drive close to the pedestrians and frighten them so they'll think twice before crossing against a red light.